The one thing that I see that is a huge epidemic is mouth breathing. Mouth breathing is the black hole of oral health.
Crooked teeth are a sign of poor development of the jaws. Today, 7 out of 10 children have crooked teeth. Yet before the Industrial Revolution, this number was as low as 1 out of 20.
The human jaw has been shrinking for hundreds of years. That's the cause of many of the problems that kids go to see orthodontists about. That's the cause of sleep apnea and so on. It's a brand new thing since industrialization. The famous human paleontologist Richard Klein has stated that he's never seen a hunter-gatherer's skull with a shrunken jaw or crooked teeth.
Modern industrialized societies are plagued by small jaws and crowded, ill-aligned teeth or malocclusion. Simply put, a bad bite. This has become a hidden epidemic that has gone virtually unrecognized.
Teeth are not supposed to be crooked, so that's a sign of disease or that a problem is going to come later. Now I know that it's not the crowding that is a problem, it's the jaws are not growing.
The cause of this, according to many people, is genetics, a bad mixture of genes from mama and papa, or a general pattern of Mark Feldman points out, there's not been time or the selection pressures to allow for shrinkage of human jaws. It's got to be essentially environmentally caused.
Forwardonics is very focused on looking at the environment that has caused the problems. And by looking at an environment, we mean how the patients, the little kids were raised, what foods they eat, and how they breathe. Because patients that breathe through their mouth, their jaws don't develop properly. A kid that grows properly, a face that develops completely the way it's supposed to, should be able to fit 32 teeth. That includes all the wisdom teeth.
Mouth breathing or just hanging the mouth open at rest, eating mostly soft foods that require little chewing, sleeping restlessly and snoring could lead to distorted development of the jaws, face, and airway. Results can include long, narrow faces and mouths, less defined cheekbones, relatively small lower jaws, weak chins, gummy smiles, and of course, crooked teeth.
And we call that, growing from cute to ugly. And the effects of poor growth are evident later in life. They're not evident when you're a baby. They're not evident when you're a toddler. They're not evident when you're a young child. But once you start getting into puberty, that's when this poor growth is not occurring and it's evident. And sometimes, and in the teenage years, it's too late to do something.
Normal, healthy breathing is quiet and occurs through the nose with the mouth fully closed.
When we mouth breathe, we have all kinds of issues that happen in the mouth. We are more susceptible to decay, the mouth dries up, gum disease, and we're starting to learn from the medical literature that there's a lot of disease that starts with all these symptoms or signs we can observe in the mouth.
Consideramos la nariz como un órgano fundamental que pues merece más atención de la que está recibiendo actualmente, ya que el 95% del aire expirado durante el sueño debe pasar sin esfuerzo por la nariz, y la nariz también tiene esta función de enriquecer a través de la emanación de óxido nítrico a partir de los senos maxilares, la cual tiene capacidades increíbles como esta activación antimicrobiana. Se habla de un 49 veces más la producción de óxido nítrico en el seno maxilar que el resto del cuerpo.
Forwardonics is really the key to everything. Airway is a buzzword right now. Everybody's talking about airway, snoring, sleep apnea, all these problems that are a modern epidemic today. When you teach children, young adults, to breathe with their mouth closed, you are going to do prevention.
Forwardontics is a new evidence-based approach of early intervention treatment that creates straighter teeth, beautiful faces, and better airways by focusing on the entire facial structure, oral posture, and breathing function on children ages 3 to preteens. sedentarism and the ever-increasing screen time are taking a huge toll on our health. We are becoming a bad posture society, and these bad posture habits are not conducive to healthy airways.
The posture is just how you hold yourself at rest. And this is what forwardonics is based on. The most important pillar of forwardonics has to do with posture, because posture is what we do when we're not doing anything. And it's very important to be doing nothing in order to grow and develop. Kids that are always doing something, that are jumpy, they're jumpy at night too. So they're not resting properly. So the cells are not focused in growing because they're always interrupted with movement.
With proper attention to our children's diets, eating habits, breathing patterns, and what we call oral posture, how they hold their jaws when not eating or speaking, many aspects of the epidemic could be ameliorated or avoided entirely. Dr. John Mew came up with what he called the tropic premise, or correct oral posture, for the ideal development of the jaw and teeth. This means the tongue resting on the palate, the lip sealed, and the teeth in light contact for 4 to 8 hours a day.
And 4 to 8 hours a day means during sleep. So if we get children to sleep in this posture, the cells will be relaxed enough so that their only job is to grow properly.
Developing nasal-only breathing teaches your brain that you need to rest with your mouth closed.
If the kids learn to hold their teeth together in light contact and they're breathing through their nose and they're keeping the tongue in the roof of the mouth, then the growth will be forward and upward, which is conducive to developing jaws that will grow enough to fit all the teeth.
Science has shown that growth hormone is secreted most efficiently between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. We all know that we
All right, people. So today we're gonna do this video is based on how your breathing could actually be hurting your health. So right now we just played a video, and it's titled "The Silent Epidemic of Mouth Breathing." All right. So with that being said, we'll let him kind of go in and kind of give an explanation on the importance of understanding how to breathe and the correct way to breathe.
All right. Today, a lot of people, such as myself, growing up as a child, as you can see in the video, suffer from mouth breathing. And when it comes to mouth breathing, basically, your air that you breathe in is not getting filtered properly, right? So also, it's not getting filtered properly. You're actually disfiguring your jaw, your teeth structure. All of these things contribute to bad health, especially orally. It also contributes to sleep apnea and things of that nature. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you different information that's going on with it, because it's something that people don't talk about and they treat it lightly. But when it comes down to it, we're supposed to really be breathing through our nose, and we're supposed to eat through our mouth. So we're going to show you the proper way of breathing, and we're going to dive into things to open up the nasal passage and things of that nature.
I am Dr. Lisa DeGioia, TMJ in Sleep Therapy in Southwestern Ontario. There is a conception that those who breathe through their mouth can look foolish or unintelligent. This thinking stems from a lack of facial development that has occurred from individuals who have not used their noses for breathing.
But Oscar is different.
I just don't want him growing up feeling like there's something wrong with him.
Neither do I. That's why he could use some help. A lot of help.
Or is that stupid?
It's pretty stupid.
No, he's just going through that stage the boys go through where they can't access the clever part of their brain.
Yeah. Honey, he's a mouth breather.
What?
Oxygen is essential for life, and how it enters into our body can have a direct impact on the physiology of our body. Proper breathing stems only from nasal breathing, and mouth breathing is detrimental to the homeostasis of our body. The use of mouth breathing has damaging and lifelong consequences. Chronic mouth breathing may contribute to the following: compromised craniofacial development, acidic pH of the body, cardiovascular disease, metabolic disease, introduction of unfiltered, poorly humidified air into the lungs, upper chest breathing, which is inefficient and tiring, chronic overbreathing, sleep disordered breathing, temporal mandibular dysfunction, noisy eating, speech issues, reverse swallow pattern, inflammation of soft tissues of the airway, dental malocclusion, and caries. In 1981, an experiment on primates and oral respiration was published by Harvald et al., in which the primates had nasal plugs inserted into their nostrils. This, in effect, forced the animals into mouth breathing, which resulted in acquired facial changes and dental occlusion different from their control animals. The animals were forced to adapt, and as you can see in the photos, there is notching of the upper lip, mouth posture which is open, long and slender tongue and midline groove formed, dental malocclusion, forward posturing of the mandible producing a dual bite. The tongue is protruded in an effort to clear the airway. In this photo, courtesy of John Mew, the results of mouth breathing are evident. There's an increase in the vertical facial height of the young lady and compromise in her facial aesthetics. When we breathe through our mouth, we encourage inflammation of the nasal structures. Inflammation of the nasal structures can be directly related to the foods we ingest. The presence of allergens such as pet dander can also be inflammatory. These variables will lead to congestion, enlargement of the adenoids, tonsils, and turbinates. There can also be deviation of the septum, polyps, and tumors that can form obstructions and result in mouth breathing. Mouth breathing will mean there is a loss in the following processes. The nose acts as a filter and retains small particles from the air, such as pollen. The nose will add moisture to the air and prevent dryness in the lungs and the bronchial tubules. It also helps to warm up cold air that enters into our system and hence achieve body temperature before it gets into the lungs. Often the importance of our nose goes unnoticed until we develop a bad cold and our quality of life suffers and we aren't able to get good sleep. The nasal passages and the sinuses produce a substance called nitric oxide, and this helps our lungs to absorb oxygen. Nasal breathing results in 50% more resistance in the airstream as opposed to mouth breathing. As a result, there is 10 to 20% more oxygen uptake. Nasal resistance during inhalation helps maintain elasticity of the lungs. Nitric oxide increases the ability of transportation of oxygen throughout our body and our heart. It helps to relax the vascular smooth muscle and allows blood vessels to dilate. Nitric oxide is also antifungal, antiviral, antiparasitic, antibacterial, and helps the immune system to fight infections. Nasal breathing versus mouth breathing. The depth of our inhale is also important because the lower lobes of the lungs are highly saturated with oxygen and alkaline-rich parasympathetic nerve endings designed for relaxation. These nerve endings can only be accessed through nasal diaphragmatic breathing. The upper lobes of the lungs have predominantly sympathetic nerve endings, which are used in the fight or flight response. These two branches of the autonomic nervous system send different biochemical signals when communicating with our brain. When mouth breathing, the diaphragm muscle does not move downward or upward, and the lower lobes of our lungs don't inflate. Our heart rate rises and the brain senses a threat, producing a fight or flight response. Our bodies are designed to breathe in this way for emergencies only, and not on a regular basis for our daily life and exercise. Eventually, the overuse of these chemicals takes its toll on the body, and we see a buildup of acid and inflammation in the cells, accelerating our aging process and chronic illnesses.
The normal or physiological way of breathing is through your nose. Breathing through the nose permits to purify the air by the structures inside the nasal cavity. In that way, the air entering into your naso and oropharynx, your throat, is not going to heavily affect the lymphoid tissue in the adenoids and tonsils, which is the last barrier to catch harmful particles in the air before it reaches your lungs. Besides clearing the air from harmful particles, nasal breathing stimulates the production of gases and substances in the nose, which are going to facilitate the entrance of the air in the lungs and prevent infection in your respiratory system. Mouth breathing allows the air to pass directly into your throat, where the adenoids and tonsils are located. In that way, the air entering into your body through your mouth has not previously been purified, and the lymphoid tissue in the adenoids and tonsils become the first defensive barrier against the harmful particles contained in the air. As a consequence, that lymphoid tissue overgrows, occupying a large volume of your throat. That makes more difficult for the nasal breathing, and you make a habit of breathing through your mouth. In order to breathe through your mouth, your lower jaw has to come down, as well as your tongue has to rest on the floor of your mouth. Breathing through the nose is the correct way, and so the tongue is able to rest on your palate, stimulating a normal growth and development of your upper jaw. Conversely, when you breathe through your mouth, your tongue has to descend and protrude. At the same time, the pressure of your cheeks increases, pushing the upper jaw inwards. So the growth and development of your upper jaw is negatively affected, resulting in a narrow and high palate. The upper dental arch acquires a V shape instead of being a rounded dental arch. Therefore, your teeth do not have space to properly align. This also produces an incorrect swallowing function. Every time you swallow, between 1,600 to 2,400 times per day, the tongue positions low, staying away from your palate. That forces the tip of your tongue to position between your upper and lower front teeth. That pushes your front teeth to show out of your mouth, and your tongue resting on the floor of your mouth, with the tip of the tongue between your front teeth. That is called an open bite, as your upper and lower front teeth do not touch when you close your mouth. All those dysfunctions, mouth breathing, incorrect tongue posture, open mouth, and incorrect swallowing, are going to continue affecting the growth and development of your upper and lower jaws. And as a consequence, there is less room for your teeth and they become crooked. Remember, the nose is for breathing and the mouth is for eating. Breathing through your nose and keeping your mouth closed with your lips together is going to help your upper and lower jaws to grow and develop better. But more importantly, it makes you healthier.
All right, cool. Another dive here. Like I said, why is this important? The main thing is the life is in the oxygen, it's in the breath, that's your spirit, that's your life, right? So if your cells is not getting oxygen, if it's not getting the proper flow of blood, which comes from the nasal passage, not the mouth, then it's going to be obstruction. So we're going to dive in to things that's causing, mouth breathing. We're going to talk about, ways to fix it, all of these things. So the first slide here is that 30 to 50% of people mouth breathe, including me. I grew up mouth breathing, and also, time to time I'm still breaking it. And then 54.8 children
mouth breathe, right? And it's still growing to this day. And people don't understand that a lot of the reasons that our children are mouth breathing is because of the food. The food that we eat causes inflammation. When you're looking at the dairy, you're looking at all the different glutens and things of the nature from the starches that causes the kid to not be able to breathe through the mouth properly, right? So it's an epidemic that's growing on because the more we feed our kids this processed food, it's an ongoing thing. All right, so here, what are the harmful effects of mouth breathing? So you're looking at sleep apnea and snoring, right? So you understand that when it comes to snoring, that's your breathing basically is obstructed. So when it comes down to it, you got to understand that snoring is a form of you not having proper airflow. So if you hear somebody snoring, you need to wake them up because, to be honest with you, it's kind of a bad sign that they are unable to breathe. So the best way to prevent them from snoring is for them to lay on their side. Now, when you're looking at facial and teeth abnormalities, this also comes from the mouth breathing. Mouth breathing is also a way that you can build up your jawline. It's a reason for people that have like high cheekbones, things of that nature, the model face, right? But as growing up as a child, you got to understand that, if you're not eating properly, then you're going to actually, not breathe properly, right? So this is going to cause your teeth to actually not, form properly because your tongue is at the bottom part of your mouth. It's not resting at the top, because that's how you really supposed to rest your tongue on the top of your roof. So you got to understand that most of the time when kids have all these dental problems and things of that nature, that comes from them breathing through their mouth and the diet that they've been eating. Same thing, we talked about facial muscles. When you're eating so many soft foods, right? You look at the processed foods, the macaroni and cheese, the breads. They're not exercising the facial muscles, right? So that muscle becomes laxed. So you looking at kids that's, got puffy face and droopy faces and things of that nature. That comes from not exercising, from eating hard foods such as apples and pears and things of that nature that's going to actually have them working that muscle. They need to be chewing their food regularly. When you eating these soft foods and things of that nature, that's basically like you're drinking your food, but you're not giving no workout to your facial muscles. And that plays havoc later on in the child's life. Now we got to look at chronic fatigue. When you're looking at chronic fatigue also, when you mouth breathe, like the lady explained, you're actually telling your body you're in a flight or fright mode, which is caused stress. So you constantly never having a deep breath, right? So you got to understand, when you're never taking deep breath, it's like you're stressing the body. When you nose breathe, you get the full diaphragm of breathing. But when you mouth breathe, you actually just doing the upper respiratory breathing. So now you're actually stressing your kidneys and adrenals because your cortisol is being excreted, which is causing different inflammation in the body. So when we look at, stress, fatigue, and anxiety, all these different things, we got to understand it's also not so much what you eat, but it's also about how you are able to calm yourself down. And the best way to calm yourself down is through proper breathing. Now, we're going to get into understanding what nitric oxide is. We're going to get into talking about increased anxiety, like we just said, with the kidneys being excreted cortisol. Also, when it comes to increased blood pressure, most people will have blood pressure. They're not breathing properly. If you look at a person that snores, 9 out of 10, they have, a mouth breathing problem. And this causes the blood not to be able to give proper flow because your blood needs oxygen, right? So you're constantly breathing through your mouth. You're not getting the proper oxygen, which is causing your blood not to be able to expand properly. And then you look at digestive issues. When your mouth breathing, it also dries up the saliva that's in your mouth, causing you not to get the proper digestive fluid and to digest the food properly. So it's a lot we're gonna dive into, and I really want to dive into the nitric oxide, and we got a little small video that's like about 2 minutes long of a person explaining what nitric oxide is.
So, what is when you hear a person snore? You said that's a sign of inflammation, and they should be woken up.
It's a sign of improper breathing. You know what I mean? It's both, but for the most part, it's improper breathing, and that's how a lot of people can have. Really, a lot of people can just die in their sleep from that. You know what I mean? It's just bad signs of that.
It can lead to inflammation.
Yeah.
That nasal pharynx, it can dry that up and lead to inflammation in that nasal passage.
The snoring will?
The snoring will, because you doing mouth breathing. So that the oxygen, that the breath you're taking in is going through the mouth. It's not going past the cilia, those hairs in your nose, which serve as a filter, you know. So you're pulling in pathogens. You're bypassing the nose. So those cilia, those nose hairs, it's important not to pluck them, just trim them. So that breath, that air, that oxygen is not going past that. It's going straight to the lungs, cold, unfiltered. In the interim, that nasal passage is susceptible at that point to drying out, becoming inflamed, which then now it's dry, because that's a mucous membrane. It has a purpose. So now it's dry, so it's not going to operate the way it needs to. It's not going to grab those pathogens and give you mucus. You know, we blow our nose. You know, and sometimes, you know, people, you know, fail to see the importance of clean your nose. That's the thing. Okay, it ain't running, but clean your nose. You know, some people have processes, regimens or whatever, and with a method and or a manner in which they clean their nose. But so if that air is going through straight to the lungs by way of the mouth, that allows the nose to not perform properly. That allows that mucous membrane to dry up, which leads you to be susceptible to pathogens. Pathogens, what is pathogen? Germs, microbes, bacteria, which leave you open to infection. So that first line, that barrier, that first line, it didn't get to work as it was supposed to. Those cilia, again, in the nose, are filters. That's what I got.
Gotcha. Good information. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the nitric acid video. Nitric oxide, excuse me.
Nitric oxide is naturally made in our bodies. A Nobel Prize was awarded for the discovery that nitric oxide plays a significant role in the cardiovascular system. This discovery revealed nitric oxide as a vasodilator, helping to reduce blood pressure and increase oxygen in the blood. Produced by the lining of the blood vessels, known as the endothelium, nitric oxide acts as a messenger molecule, telling blood vessels to widen or dilate, and contract or relax, like an elastic band. With enough nitric oxide, blood vessels can relax and widen, allowing blood to flow from and to the heart. As we age, we produce less nitric oxide. This can cause the cardiovascular system to become less elastic, which can reduce the flow of oxygenated blood to vital organs. This is the reason it's important to have an active lifestyle and a diet that's rich in nitrates, which bioconvert to nitric oxide and may help maintain normal blood pressure levels and a healthy cardiovascular system.
All right, as you can see the importance of the nitric oxide, right? The body naturally produces it when you breathe through your nose. When you breathe through your nose, like she was talking about the hairs and things of that nature, your body takes that oxygen, it filters it, it structures it into this nitric oxide, which actually feeds the blood and helps, to get the proper blood flow through your body. So for people that have high blood pressure and things of that nature, it's good for them to actually do breathing work to help calm their blood and basically get their proper blood flow going. So when you look at nose breathing, you will see as you breathe through your nose, you're getting rid of all the toxic air. You're converting it. It's basically how the Creator created us. It's a perfect function to basically combat any type of toxins that's in there. Also, when you breathe through your nose, it actually better expands the diaphragm. And we got to understand that 70% of our lymphatic fluid is around our gut, is around the diaphragm, right? And the best way to expand that is through doing the proper nose breathing, deep nose breathing. This is what gets the inflammation up out of you, right? Because like we say all the time, you got to understand, your lymphatic system don't have a pump. So the body does different things to move the lymph. So you got to understand that breathing properly is a way to move your lymphatic system. And also what we talked about with digestion and fighting anxiety and things of that nature. You can breathe through your nose, like do a double breath, take if you do that twice,
that helps actually calm down your nerves. Actually, it helps calm you down. You know what I mean? If you get people that go through anxiety attacks, things of that nature, it's good to do proper breathing, breath work to actually fight that and combat it. So when it comes down to the nitric oxide, these things can also boost your immune system, as we talked about, getting the proper oxygen to the blood. It helps with memory, because one thing, you're getting oxygen to the brain, because a lot of people that breathe through the mouth, the oxygen is not going to the brain, So when you get in proper breathing work, it actually keeps you focused. It keeps you, your memory right. It fights Alzheimer's and things of that nature, like dementia. It basically anything to do with cognitive ability. Breathing properly can actually help, heal that. So when you look at it, even with an erectile dysfunction, when we talk about nitric oxide, these things help the blood flow go throughout the body all together, right? So when you're looking at that, it helps with, the erectile dysfunction. It protects the skin, it protects the bladder. It improves gut function and things of that nature. It helps with weight loss. So with nitric oxide, is very important. Like I said, there's certain foods you can get nitric oxide, but the main thing is to get it through your proper breathing. Now we're going to talk about ways to open up the nasal passage. So even with myself, I'm working on it too. So when we look at the nasal passage, it's different things that can contract your nasals from closing up, like things we eat, right? Some people like me is very allergic. So say when spring comes, because we're about to get into the spring type of weather, you got to understand that allergies such as pollen and all these different type of foreign things in the air, all of these things can combat into you actually being able to breathe through your nose properly. So we're going to play this video of a guy. It's an Oriental guy that shows that demonstrations of opening up the nasal passage.
Y'all, did you want to add anything on that?
Well, I just wanted to say, and just to reiterate these videos and what Uriah is saying, those deep breaths, they relieve stress, they reduce muscle tension. And, you know, if you think about, everybody ain't experienced this, but a panic attack. Somebody's having a panic attack. You tell them to breathe, deep breaths. That's why you tell them to do that. You want them to take that breath through the nose. I mean, that is important. Or when we meditate, we say, we not only say we're meditating deep breaths, we also say cleansing breaths. And that what Uriah is explaining, that's why we say those things. He's giving you all the reasons why we need to breathe in that manner.
Gotcha. And it's deep because it's also a spiritual thing. Because when you breathe
through your nose, it's like when people get outer body experiences and things of that nature, you're actually, you know, it's like she said, it's cleansing, but you're sending that nitric oxide to the pineal gland. You sending all these type of things. So when these monks and these people that's spiritual, they do these breathing practices to actually connect to a higher being, you know. So
yeah.
But it's just amazing what the body can do. It's not just the herbs. The body got ways of healing itself, you know. So we got to figure out all the ways to heal the body.
More than 150 years ago, in a village called Fushan, China, by a master by the name of Liang Zhan, get some tissue. It could get messy. That's the natural way. Now I'm going to show you step by step. To warm up, breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your nose 10 times. In, out, 1. Breathe in, out 2. Breathe in, out 3. Breathe in, out 4. Breathe in, out 5. Breathe in, out 6. Breathe in, out 7. Breathe in, out 8. Breathe in, out 9. Breathe in, out 10. Breathe in to your nose twice and breathe out to your nose twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Close your right nose with this finger and breathe in through your left nose and out through your left nose. Breathe in, out 1, out 2, breathe in, out 3, out 4, breathe in, out 5, breathe in, out 6, breathe in, out 7, breathe in, out 8, breathe in, out 9, breathe in, out 10. Now repeat this on your left side. Close your left nose with your left finger and breathe in through your right nose and out through your right nose. Breathe in, out 1, breathe in, out 2, breathe in, out 3, breathe in, out 4, breathe in, out 5,
Breathe in. Out 6. Breathe in. Out 7. Breathe in. Out 8. Breathe in. Out 9. Breathe in. Out 10. Reverse breathing. Place your right finger onto your right nose. Breathe in through your left nose. And then place your left finger onto your left nose and breathe out through your right nose. Let me repeat this one more time. Breathe in to your left and breathe out to your right. Ready? Breathe in and breathe out 1. Breathe in and breathe out 2. Breathe in and breathe out 3. Breathe in and breathe out 4. Breathe in and breathe out 5. Breathe in and breathe out 6. Breathe in and breathe out 7. Breathe in and breathe out 8. Breathe in and breathe out 9. Breathe in and breathe out 10. Place your left finger onto your left nose. Breathe into your right nose and breathe out through your left nose. And we're going to do this 10 times. Breathe in and out. 1. Breathe in strongly and out. 2. Focus in your breathing. Breathe in. Out. 3. Breathe in. Out. 4. Breathe in. Out. 5. Breathe in. Out. 6. Breathe in. Out. 7. Breathe in. Out. 8. Breathe in. Out. 9. Breathe in. Out. 10. Now breathe into your nose, deeply into your nostrils, and breathe out through your nose. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10.
That was some good techniques though.
All right. So that video, when y'all come to this, you do that every morning. That's what you want to do when you wake up. You want to get your body or your nose patches opened up so you can breathe properly throughout the day. These are practices you want to practice when you meditate and things of that nature. So you want to work on proper breathing as much as possible and do it before you sleep because you want to open up your nasal passages before you go to sleep so you won't have the mouth breathing problems. So we can go back to the presentation. We're going to show you different foods and herbs and things of that nature that help open this up. So with people that's dealing with any type of respiratory type problems such as asthma, pneumonia, things of that nature, the proper breathing can actually
get that inflammation up out of you through diaphragm breathing, right? So we see what nitric oxide does to the body. Nitric oxide actually is like a you would say it's an antibiotic that the body naturally makes to help fight that inflammation that's within you. So, like we said, that practice that the guy just did, you want to do that daily to fight the inflammation that's going on in the diaphragm. Like I said, 70% of your lymphatic system stimulates around your gut in the diaphragm area. So proper breathing is necessary. Another thing you can do too as well is use oregano oil. Oregano oil is good for opening up the nasal passage and fighting inflammation. So what you would do with the oregano oil, you would dilute it. You get you a cup of water and you go to, you can go off of Amazon, you can go to Jungle Gyms, things of that nature, right? And take a drop and put it in your water, in a cup of water, and drink it. And as you build yourself up, try 2 drops and drink that. And it's very powerful. It'll kind of numb your mouth sometimes, you know what I mean? But for the most part, what it is, it opens up and it gets rid of a lot of inflammation. It fights a lot of bacteria that's in the lungs. It fights a lot of bacteria that's in, throughout your body, period, the gut, things of that nature. So oregano oil is something to do to take on a regular basis. Also, cayenne pepper. You want to drink cayenne pepper water sometimes. You could use like key limes or lemon or whatever and put some cayenne pepper, like maybe like a tablespoon or a teaspoon in there, stir it up and drink it. And these things will open you up as well. It cause you to sweat, things of the nature. Chewing on fresh ginger, these things will open you up, Also, it helps with all of these type of practice help with weight loss as well, So when you opening up your channels of elimination, opening up your nose is a channel of elimination. Breathing, your lungs is a channel of elimination, right? So as you open up your channels of elimination, this is where you lose the weight, because a lot of the toxins is stored from weight, right? So you have a lot of toxins in there. So as you lose these toxins, the weight comes off. So also we got the food. So these are some of the foods too as well, like sour oranges. If you have a chance, if anybody have a chance, get your hands on some sour oranges. That's like one of the most powerfulest oranges you can have. Like it's so potent and powerful. I mean, as soon as you bite into it, you can feel your lymphatic system like pulling, like it'll cause your nose to run. I mean, you'll start crying. Like, I mean, tears will come out your eyes. Like it's real sour. But what you want is to actually get that inflammation up out of you, right? So if you're in the Cincinnati area, or if you got a Whole Foods or things of that nature, try to go and get you some sour oranges, not the regular citrus oranges. Get you some real sour oranges, right? And that'll help pull out all that inflammation up out of you. And we talk about grapes. We're going to one day do a whole presentation on grapes, because grapes is so powerful. Like they get rid of everything when it comes to cancer. And when it comes to any type of disease, you can go on a grape fast and it'll remove a lot of disease away from you, right? But when it comes to the lungs, grapes is so powerful with opening up the lungs. That's something that you should have in your diet if you got asthma or anemia, not anemia, but what's that? Pneumonia. Yeah, we got pneumonia. Couldn't get the word out. Yeah, pneumonia. We got like pneumonia and asthma, things of that nature. Grapes is a good fruit to eat. Like we talked about the key limes. Drink that in the morning. The mangoes and things that got so-called vitamin C and all of that. So really, you want to take a lot of fruits that's astringent for your body, and these are the things that help relieve the inflammation. So we talk about the things to eat. We got to go into the things not to eat. So these, as we always talked about, these are the foods you don't want to eat. The dairy. Dairy is the biggest cause of people having, inflammation in the head region and things of that nature, and breathing problems. The meat, the Starch, like we talk about too, is starch is like a gluey substance that comes in the body. When you could looking at gluten and things of that nature, gluten is probably one of the most inflammatory things you can get from rice and breads and all of that. So when you looking at all of these type of foods and you're going through a problem, I'm not saying not to eat them ever again, but the thing is when you're trying to relieve yourself from an issue, it's good to give it a break.
Right.
You know? So if you're trying to get rid of all these type of things, get rid of the dairy, get rid of the meat, get rid of the starch, all of that. You know? So the next thing we're gonna show is the herbs that'll be good when combating, breathing problems and things of that nature. So as you can see this plant over here, this is the mullein. This is a mullein plant. So it's good to get mullein leaf. Mullein leaf is one of the best herbs to take when it comes to cleaning out the lungs, cleaning out bronchial tubes and things of that nature. We also talk about the elderberry a lot. Elderberry is perfect for that type of cold type of symptom and things of that nature. Sea moss and ginger tea. These things you want to constantly have when you're having these type of problems. And for the most part, you can mix these up, take this with a diet, and just try to do a fast from here and there. Try to use intermittent fasting. Make sure you're getting proper water and things of that nature, because also having your body hydrated helps you breathe properly as well,
Good info, man. What about combining all those together in like a drink?
You could.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. Is that the best thing to do or what?
It depends. Like sometimes you can mix them, sometimes you don't. But mixing sea moss with anything is cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah, I've been thinking about making like an elderberry juice for my daughter. Because she be snoring at night. Be snoring louder than me. For real, man. But nah, this was good though, because it just show you that some of the things that we do every day that we don't really pay attention to. Like our snoring, like our breathing, dude. Like when you can't breathe through your nose, like that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then having that hair to, as Yael has said, like, keep it trimmed, don't cut it all the way off, because those hairs are protectors. And hair in general is protectors, all over the body. The Almighty ain't put it there for no reason. But as the things that are in the environment, the pathogens, so on and so forth, those hairs can actually block those things from coming and entering into your system. So,
yeah, it's just, it's amazing on how he created the human body. You know what I mean?
Jeez,
like I said, it's when you look at the whole way they're supposed to operate, if you look at how Adam really probably operated, he probably operated so differently than man the other day. You know what I mean?
They say he didn't even look like a human being.
Yeah, you
like
got
your average human being.
If you look at the ancient, people, when they find in the skulls, they had perfect teeth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They had a perfect diet. They lived different. You know what I mean? So you got to understand, the whole theory of evolution is like so debunked by just our society. Each generation is getting sicker and sicker and sicker. So how are we evolving?
Mm-hmm.
We digressing.
Yeah, technology. What it is that technology is evolving.
Exactly.
We devolve.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everything you can do with a computer, you can do with your brain.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And it's like we lost so many ways of senses and things of that nature. Here it is. We got to research and search up herbs, but the body, back then, they didn't have to. They nose could tell them what they should be eating or not. Just like an animal, right? If an animal gets sick, they can smell what plant to eat because it smells good to them. So their body naturally tells them to eat that.
Yeah.
But we so out of tune with life, we don't know nothing. You know what I mean?
Well, it's been done like, over the years, man. It's been done. It's as a result of us being out of our element. You understand? A lot of the various different nations and cultures, they get the experience, a certain different experience than we do.
Right.
But what people should use, especially we as Black people, we should use our freedom and our time in the correct way. By going out camping, going out and exploring the outdoors. You know, these are the things that I used to look at, and children love to do these things, but we as adults, we have to go back and revisit these things as well, because nature will show you who you are. You understand? Nature will show you everything you need to know, you know, and all it takes is time. The more time you spend outdoors, actually being outside and being outdoors boosts your immune system alone.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Being inside is what
destroys it.
It destroys your immune system, you know, but when you're exposed to, you know, the earth wants to take care of you just like your body. I was telling, because my daughter had, you know, she had got a little ailment, and I just said, you know, like the first thing that we do when we get sick is we run to these medicines. Exactly. You know, which is, you know, if you have something to where it's like, it's that bad and you got to take it, do what you got to do. But see, you know, it's not really getting to the root of the problem. Mm-hmm. You understand? See, y'all, when you fall sick, everything takes time for the body to heal. Everything takes time. You know what I mean? These medicines are giving us a false impression that we're actually dealing with the issue within us. Mm-hmm. No, you have to actually put the work in. You got to fast. And most of the time when you fall sick, it's good to fast. It's good to cease from eating and then take more fluids in, take more, you know, your astringent fruits and waters and things of that nature. But the body wants to do what it wants to do. It's like you get cut, and immediately, days and days after, your cut will start to heal and start to regenerate. The body wants to be in a certain type of element. It wants to be in a certain type of health. You understand? But it's our heart that takes us away. It's our desires and the things that we want, such as the dairies and everything, which leads to that, your nose being stuffed up and all of these different things. Mm-hmm. When you're indulging in these things too much, it's your heart that actually causes you to be like, hey, I want this. You know what I mean? And the advertisements don't make it any better, you know?
That's right.
So
you got to look at everything as a domino effect. You got to understand when you get to eating the inflammatory foods, then you go into mouth breathing, and that causes decay and inflammation and different bacteria and cavities in the mouth. Yeah. Right. So when you having these type of mouth defects and things of that nature, that goes into the bloodstream, and that can make you sick. People die from having, you know, cavities and different infirmities in their mouth. And then it also trickles down to you not even being able to block out the toxins that's out there. You know what I mean? Mm. We put on face masks and all of that type of stuff, but the best filter is your nose.
That's when I used to have it's funny, the society that we live in, man. You know, back when the pandemic first broke out, I was wearing my mask, but one thing I would do, I would leave my nose open. Mm-hmm. And then they'd be like, oh, put it over your nose.
Right, that's crazy.
Like, it was you. Telling me to put it over my nose. It'll smack you up.
But nah, that's the truth, though. Yeah. That's the best filter, you know what I mean? And the one thing about your nose, it tells you your environment. It lets the brain know what's out here. You know what I mean? It tells you like, hey, you smell smoke or you smell different things. Your brain telling me it's danger or it's something that's toxic. You feel me? It's warning. Everything is warning signals. You know what I mean? Like I said, we lost a lot of our ability to know our surroundings. You know what I mean? It's just deep on how, you know, the human body works. It's like it's some type of like super duper machine. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man.
Oh yeah.
Like it can't be duplicated.
We'll be here forever talking about the greatness of our bodies, man. And how the Most High created. Like actually, mercy is mercy. You understand? Like when we tap in and when we're doing right, you know what I'm saying? We're more capable than even the animals themselves. You know? Right. And that's the reason why he gave us dominion over them. Is that we're more capable than these animals. It's just that these animals have, you know, they have these senses. They have certain senses and certain abilities that are actually intensified, or what would you call them, at a high level. And they see you're supposed to learn from these animals. And they're different qualities and different gifts and different talents. You understand? But we lost our way with that. You know, animals are supposed to teach us. You know what I mean? So
that's right. That's right.
Learn a lot from animals: lions, dogs, cats. You can learn a lot from these animals. You know.
And that's what it's like. He put his spirit. When he say he put his spirit, this is showing the manifestation of his spirit in us, with the ability to be able to manifest different things. Like we talk about, herbs and everything that heals the body, but we also as well. You know what I mean? You can think your way to health. It's people that smoke and drink and everything of that nature, and they live to be 100 years old. You know what I mean? It's also a mental thing. Your cognitive ability also can learn how to control your cells. You know what I mean? If you want to think you cold, you will get cold. If you want to think you warm and hot, you'll get hot. And these are even with these breathing exercises. You can be out in the cold and you can actually breathe properly to heat your body up to be able to withstand the cold. You know what I mean? It's just amazing when you actually tap the human mind and unlock the subconscious mind and actually have complete control of that and to be able to control every aspect of your body. And fasting is the best way to actually go and experience that level of realm. When you get this fasting for a few days and then take it to the next week or two and things of that nature, and you start really diving in to actually being humble and seeing that the body doesn't live off bread alone. You feel me? That what drives that subconscious mind, that spirit, you will actually see that, it's something more to this life that we live. It's something outside than what we ever can imagine. You know what I mean? It's amazing, man. That's why
there's levels to it.
Man, that's why I hope that everybody practice fasting, man. Like really go deep into it. I'm gonna get to it, but this is why we putting things together, because we need healing centers. And it's hard out here in this society to fast. But we want to give people the break that they need to go and do a month of fasting so they can see what it is to be on that other side. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. I'm a big advocate of fasting, man. And when you read the scriptures, when we read our history book, and you see that's the way that our people showed the Creator that we were serious.
Yeah.
When you start to fast, and fast is what it's like. It's like a gateway to a focus. You understand? When you eating all these foods, and when you eat food, no matter what type of food it is, you know what I'm saying? It kind of what it does is it gives you a certain level of intoxication.
Exactly.
When you subtract food from what you're doing, it's like, man, that's a gateway to a different focus.
Man, that's deep that you said that, bro, because I want everybody to also get that book, Arnold Ehret, The Mucilus Diet. I want people to read that, because what he did was he broke it down. Here it is. A lot of the white people didn't even like Arnold Ehret. He was a German. He was a white man. But he exposed how melanin, what he called melanin at the time, he was way back in the 40s. But he showed that how melanin made us the superhumans. You know what I mean? He broke that down as a white man. But he also showed that the healthier your body is, the more melanin you produce. Because as a white man gets healthier, he doesn't look pale. He looks darker or oranger looking. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And the thing of what he talked about also is when you get rid of the inflammation and the mucus out of the body, because you understand that the food that we eat are just toxins. They're stimulants. You know what I mean? It make you feel good because you haven't been without. So it's like somebody that drink all the time, right? So say, for instance, that they stop drinking for a long period of time and then they drink it, it'll hurt them. They get drunk quick or whatever. But
that's how I am.
Exactly. But when you drink all the time, you don't feel the havoc that it does to the body. You know what I mean? You don't feel it.
That's how I even feel with the herb.
Yeah.
A good herb. Like I can't mess with it because, and some people I like, oh man, you just had one little, but one little thing, I be in another zone. That's why I can't rock with it. The same thing with the but it's because my body ain't really used to it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I wanted to also kind of draw a connection between that herb right there and what it does to the pineal gland. I haven't researched it yet, but I'm do some research on it. And hopefully we'll be able to, present on that one day.
And we got to understand the purpose of herbs. People don't understand that herbs or have some form of toxicity as well.
Oh yeah.
But the thing that the herbs do is specify a specific region of the body to expel the music. It stimulates the detoxification process, right? So you got to understand, it's like you drink and you throw up. You feel me? Herbs cause the body to expel mucus. It causes the body to go into this detoxification phase, right? So if you want to detoxify the head region, you take herbs that detoxify the head region. You want to detoxify the lungs, you detoxify with herbs that go to the lungs. And you want to get the gut, like a Cara sagrada, you take the herbs that will stimulate the gut. These things is toxic to an extent, but we got to understand that these things cause the body to detox. You feel me? So this also shows that the body does the healing. It's not nothing else. Everything is a crutch, really. You know what I mean? The body does the true healing, which is really the Almighty that's doing it. He's the one that controls the consciousness of the cells. Each cell, each one of your trillions and trillions of cells is governed by consciousness. They have their own mind. You know what I mean? And people don't understand that each cell is its own living organism. It eats, it poops, it dies. Everything. It does its own life. Now, what pulls it all together? That's what the scientists don't know, which is the creator. You know what I mean? That's what, and when he takes that spirit off you, that's what causes the body to die. You know what I mean? And you turn to dust. All those trillions of cells go back to the earth. You know what I mean? So it's up to him. He the ones that take his hand off. That's why certain people can get away with certain things. It's up to him. But one thing we got to understand is the way we live affects the way that our car runs, right? The car will still run, but if the car, you driving and you running it up, it'll be broken down, raggedy and things of that nature. You got to understand that what you put in your body shows the efficiency of it. You might get that car to run, but it's going to run efficiently. And this is the point of taking care of your health, because it's how you live while you using this car. You feel me? Yeah. You only get one car. If you only say like, oh, you're going to get one car, no matter what you get, a Bugatti or whatever, you're going to take care of that car if it's the only car that you ever have. Your body is the same way. You only get one body. So you got to take care of that body when you out here living, because you only get one. You can't trade it in and get another one. You can't get it, none of that. Right? So we got to understand that when it comes to all of this stuff that we talking about and things of that nature, it's all about how to govern your body when you out here driving or so-called living this life. Yeah. Yeah. But get that book, Muculus Diet by Arnold Ehret. Read that book. It's very powerful. It talks about when it comes to natural healing, so-called, it makes you, the way the grapes and things of that nature, it makes your body invincible. Here it is, he could cut himself and within a day is healed up like Wolverine. Yeah. That's how the body supposed to, Adam probably was like that, bro. Adam was like a walking Wolverine.
Oh yeah, I wanted to throw this out here, and we only got a few people tuned in right now, so it's a good time to drop this information. We all have the gift of regeneration, but then you have certain individuals who actually had the gift of immortality.
Right.
You understand? Meaning that they didn't age like your normal human being would age. You understand? And then when it came time, once they fulfilled their mission, the Almighty took these individuals up.
Right.
Now through subliminals, like you just said, like Wolverine and all these individuals and certain superheroes and characters that can actually like regenerate, and even certain animals in the ocean can regenerate, and even like lizards and stuff, they grow back. You know what I mean? They regenerate pretty quickly. But see, the Almighty, when you deal with Israel, each one of the servants got different gifts and different talents and different DNA itself. The Almighty, what Adam had, he had that gift of immortality, but he lost it. More closer to the Almighty than Adam himself. More Elisha taught that Adam was a replica of the Almighty on like a physical level. Mm-hmm. Of course, he couldn't do all the things that the Almighty would do, but he was the closest in terms of like his DNA, his image, his physicality, all of these things that he was gifted with, the closest. Now, we all have that Adam gene in us, but, only through our walk, of course, can we get back to that immortality. And that's what religion, that's what spirituality, and that's what all of these things are about. It's about how can we get back to living forever. You know what I mean? How can we get back to immortality? And remember, when he ate when Adam had ate the fruit, it said, this man had become as one of us, knowing good and evil. You know what I mean? Let us stop him from eating of the tree of life. You know what I'm saying? But wisdom is also a tree of life. Wisdom, knowledge, all these different things, understanding all these things are also a tree of life when you understand how to use it. And how to use it to get the favor of the Almighty in man so that you can walk that path and eventually elevate to that level of immortality. You know. But I just wanted to throw that out there. You know, certain individuals in the scriptures, your Enochs, your Elijahs, even the spirit. Remember, the spirit of Elijah had went upon the spirit of Elisha, and then that same spirit had went off on another man when they dropped Elisha's bones into a grave. That spirit, the body that was in the grave, actually revived and stood up. See, that was what you're dealing with is an immortal spirit. And the mortal spirit, it goes from, like, when you look at that movie Venom. You ever seen Venom?
Yeah.
And how when the venom latch on to somebody, it can escape off somebody else and go into somebody else and find a new body.
That's right.
The same immortal spirit. You understand what I'm saying? It's a spirit of immortality that we want to be able to take hold on, should I say? But that's the most difficult thing. That's the most difficult challenge right there. You know, so.
And that's why I feel that our enemy, man, to be honest with you, that's why he put all these different stumbling blocks.
Oh yeah,
in front of us, because they don't want you to be able to tap into that. You know what I mean? To be able to be immortal.
They know we can tap into it. That's why they work so hard to make sure that we don't rise up on that level, because we are Adamic. You understand what I'm saying? We are Adamic. We are that ruddy, that clay man. You understand what I'm saying? And we have that same DNA within us. Not only that, but we got that blessing of Yaakov, of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. You know what I mean? Which means we have the potential to even rise to higher heights.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? Which is why we teach on Levitical health, is because all of these things, these are the things that is already in your mind. We're just kind of reminding you and raising awareness on the importance of actually doing it and what will happen to you if you don't do it.
Right.
This is the gateway to immortality. This is one of those doors or one of those spirits that you have to be able to master, which is eating, which is learning how to take care of your body.
And the proper breathing.
The proper breathing, right? This is one of those spirits that you have to master in order for you to get to that immortality. The Almighty showed us that when he said, man, don't live by bread alone. You got to understand that it goes beyond even food. It goes beyond even herbs and all these things. You got to get to the point to where your every cell in your body understand who God is and who the Creator is.
Exactly.
You understand? That water is not sustaining you. That water is sustaining you, but it's not keeping you alive. It's the Almighty Spirit that's keeping you alive. You
exactly.
So
exactly.
It gets deep, man. It gets deep. Everybody that's tuned in right now, get this video a like. We'll be dropping some more content to you soon, some isolated content outside of the podcast. So you can click on the links and get the information in a matter of a couple of minutes. We know that people's attention span is very low nowadays. So we're going to be dropping the minute videos and giving you more shorts so you can absorb that information pretty quickly.
Right. And then, like I said, go back to the video of these breathing exercises. Do these things in the morning and before you go to sleep. These things that help out, not only, help with your lungs, but help with your brain and unlocking that cognitive ability to tap into the Creator. You know what I mean? So we got to do all these things to take our bodies and our spirit, to the next level. All of these things work as one.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yael, did you want to throw in anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, I want to reiterate that mouth breathing, it creates cardiovascular issues. It makes that, to sum it up, it makes your heart work harder. And I too wanted to share that in some occupations, and I experienced this myself, in some occupations, a person would have to perform an annual pulmonary fit test. So pulmonary means of or pertaining to the lungs, a fit test. And in that test, they check for the quality of the breath and the lung capacity. And another part of that particular test was they measured the circumference of a person's neck. And what they found was typically men suffered from, and if your circumference of your neck, the distance around your neck, if it was at such and such, they found that man had a snoring issue, and so poor oxygenation through the sleep, all these things that we talking about. And so what that would lead to was that person would find themselves bound to the rest of that, the other part of that pulmonary fit test, that person was bound to having to do a sleep study. And what did that consist of? And this is for occupations, some. You got to go to a facility, stay overnight. They got a bed made up, pillow covers, and they got a camera on you. You are monitored, and then they also fit you with a CPAP machine. Now, what is CPAP? CPAP is forced air. So you got this mask on, and at that point, again, they are measuring quality of the breath. They monitoring if you experience apnea within your sleep. What's apnea? Apnea is when you stop breathing. So typically when a person snores, at some point, and if you experienced it, witnessed it, somebody who has a snoring problem, if you watch them, they'll stop breathing.
That's right.
At some point. So that's apnea. So this test at this facility under this controlled environment, they are monitoring that. Okay, so they monitor how many times in a night, an X amount of minutes, or however they measure, how many times you stop breathing. And so they come up with this number, this hard number of quality of breath. And again, lung capacity and all these things. But they fit you with this CPAP. And then they decide, hey, you're not sleeping real well. You snore really bad. I'm just giving you the gist of it. You snore really bad. And to keep this job, you're going to have to wear this nightly. We're going to monitor you, Bluetooth, all these things, and so that's a whole thing. And one of those positions is truck driver. But it goes back to the circumference. I don't know what this has to do with it, but the measurement of the distance around a person's neck is indicative of a poor quality of sleep.
Wow.
I know that sounds wild, but that's what it equates to. And I just too wanted to share, a newborn baby born, that lung capacity is diminished or it's not up to par. And then that baby is on what they call a bubble CPAP. They got that mask on that baby. That baby's in an incubator and all these things. And again, it's forced air to expand them lungs and to increase the capacity of, so I wanted to share that. But I too wanted to share some herbs, for lung health. Uriah talked about mullein leaf, and I think he also mentioned elderberry. But typically, if somebody comes to me, I got my go-tos. I got my heavy hitters, and my heavy hitters are mullein leaf, olive leaf, burdock root, rosemary, and elderberry for lung health. Those are my go-tos. Those are the heavy hitters, and if you go out on your own, put these together, expect at least 24 hours before you see results. And then you can sneeze and you're going to start moving mucus. But at least 24 hours. You don't get the immediate, but with that combination, you're going to get results. And I too wanted to share goldenrod, golden seal, and yellow dock. Those yellow herbs. Those two are important for the lymphatic system and inflammation. You can incorporate them how you will with a herbal blend for lung health. But I'm going to say them again. Yellow dot, golden seal, and goldenrod. And goldenrod, what is goldenrod? People don't talk about it a lot. They also, those yellow herbs, move and stop blood. But they are excellent for inflammation. Goldenrod, when the fall hits, you riding down 75, 71, Ronald Reagan, look over and you see that yellow plant, fuzzy yellow plant, that's goldenrod. Powerful. You can make a salve out of it. It will stop blood. You cut, you bleeding up, you dig in your little pocket, your satchel, your purse. If you made a salve, if you possess a salve, it moves blood and stops blood. But those three herbs are excellent for inflammation for the lungs. That's all I got.
All praises. Good information. Great information. All right. So I think this concludes our presentation on the importance of breathing through the nose. If you need any more information on that, you can always reach out to us, or you can go back and review the video. But praise the Almighty. We ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer. You got anything else you want to throw out there? Any common subjects that the people?
Like I said, man, like I always say, a rich man has 1,000 wishes, but a sick man has but one. So,
hallelujah.
Anything, just take care of your body and enjoy life.
All right. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Once again, give this video a thumbs up, a share, a like, and subscribe.